Wow. Here we are again, another Sunday with a blood moon and a lunar eclipse. And boy, the changes are coming on. So let's begin with a song that'll help us ease into all that's happening today. So wherever you are in the world, blessings on you and your life and the changes that you're inside of right now. The song is by Dennis Kamakahi. It's called Sweet By and By. Sweet by and by, sweet by and by, e o ipo kaua in the sweet by and by. In the sweet by and by, Kaua ike anu, o ka iu, o heno, me oe, iku mukino. Mea nai aloha, ike au moe, nua vale, kaua I ka poke. Sweet by and by, sweet by and by, e o ipo kaua in the sweet by and by, in the sweet by and by, Kaua ike anu, o ka iu, o heno, me oe iku mukino. Ai ka leo aloha, ike au moe, nua vale, kaua I ka poke. Sweet by and by, sweet by and by, e o ipo kaua in the sweet by and by, in the sweet by and by. God, I love Hawaiian music so much. I've been singing it for over 30 years. And I'm so happy to be a representative of their culture in that way. So, here we are on Kauai, in the middle of the largest ocean in the world. It's a little tiny island. I'm Wayne Kealohi Powell, and I'm here to share Kahuna science today. And yeah, a lot of what we'll be sharing, and you can ask questions at any time, is from this book that I wrote with Patti Miller. It's very popular in the world. It's also in French, and it's coming in Spanish. Also, a great source of what is called Huna is Serge Kahili King's book on Kahuna healing and his most popular book, Urban Shaman. All excellent reads for, those who are curious about shamanism through the Hawaiian lens. Mai ka'i e po'i manu, bless all the souls that are here today. To perhaps come into more harmony and balance within themselves. I know that's why I do these things. Sharing it with you really helps me remember who I am and why I'm here. And a general theme of today that I've been given, because I've been seeing a lot of people, as you know, I've been driving Uber in my healing chamber. I call it the Rainbow Healing Chamber. And there are people, not everyone, but a lot of people, maybe you or not, who are in a job which is not their joy of being. They're in a groove with a successful lifestyle, successful partnership. And what does success look like? Well, it looks like a lot of comfort zones that are being nurtured. That's the way the human would view it. And so, but we know, as the great masters would tell us, that your life, our life, begins quite often where our comfort zone ends. And that's a pretty scary thing to look at, and yet we can hear the truth in that. Because we know when we're not taking risks, or when we're not playing outside the box of our programming, of our patterning, things can become kind of numb. Just running our life through the patterning and the programming. Why? Because it seems to work. And it certainly satisfies all the comfort that we require to maintain a sort of plateau of okayness, let's call it. Well, you know, and I know you know, that plateau wears out. And that's why it's called a plateau. I have been through so many, and I'm in another one right now, actually. Huge, huge change. It's a cycle coming that I have not seen in 30 years. And it's so similar, which shows me that life kind of evolves in spirals. And you'll notice that if you look very carefully, how perhaps things you did before that offered you, great transformation and change, and perhaps not so much comfort in getting there. As that becomes a platform for evolving your emotional body and your soul, eventually there'll be another platform. It's just like when you're going through the Panama Canal and you've got all these locks to go through, right? It's exactly the same in our human development. That, we're coming in from what we know and what we've learned into the lock, into an experience of life, and then we fill it with our love, with our creative endeavors, with our projects, with relationships, and slowly the water rises and rises and rises. And there's no rush, no hurry to get to the next level, but then all of a sudden the walls disappear and we float into another level. And this one, same thing, the walls go up, and we have new friends, we have a new place to live, we have a new relationship, we have a new car, whatever it is, a new job, big one. And then that rises and rises after so much time. It's all different with everyone. Then the walls disappear, We can see more clearly, and we move into the next level. So this is what's happening to humanity right now. And I know you can feel it. I know I can feel it. And it's not something that we just think about. It's something that we're actually feeling in our energy body, in our nervous system, in our emotional body, our feeling body. Because there comes a time when the mental concepts that we have entertained for so long to help us grow, they take root. And as they take root, when the sprouts come up, then we have a different experience of life, let's say. And we're looking at those thoughts and wondering, how far will they take us? How much energy will it take to nurture them, to grow them, these new ideas, these new dreams, these new relationships with either pets or plants or people or forest or bosses, significant others. Yeah, we are gardening consciousness. That's why we're here. And that's so interesting to think that each of us is a garden. Each of us is a gardener. And we have a garden of consciousness to tend to. So open your mind to that for a bit. In fact, let's close your eyes. Let's close your eyes, if you would please, and start breathing deep from within, from above, from within, from above to within, golden white light. Fill your body, inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your mouth. The breath comes from heaven to earth. And now I want you to imagine, clear your mind first of all. Clear your entire mind screen, if you would please. Just make it blank, just like an empty movie screen. Use your breath, breathing in golden white light from above, through the nose, out the mouth. And now I want you to load the screen. In fact, let the screen load itself with a garden, a beautiful garden. Not a garden that you've known before, but a garden that comes from heaven. It comes from your higher self, through your mind into your child. And as this garden appears, I want you to make the screen surround 360 degrees all the way around you. And so that you are standing in the middle of your sacred garden. Take a couple of breaths. And if you don't visualize well, just do your best. You can't do this wrong. And those of you who visualize well, yeah, make it real from your heart. What does your garden really look and feel like? Waiena is the name for garden in Hawaiian. Aloha Waiena. We love this garden. And now I want you to take a slow turn, 360 degrees, very slow, and look around at your garden and notice everything through your senses. What do you see? What do you feel? What do you hear? What can you smell? What can you touch? And now pause for a moment and reach down to the earth and pick up a big handful of dirt or grass or whatever is under you that you're standing on, and bring it to your nose and smell it. Could be a flower, could be a leaf. But feel it, smell it, touch it, see it, and then drop it to the earth. And begin walking around the perimeter of your garden. Find a little trail that will lead you to the perimeter. And let's go counterclockwise, observing everything you can see in your garden. And when you see something that needs a little bit of a change, change it. Your thought makes instant changes in your garden. Your thought forms are very, very powerful. They have influence. If you don't have water, make some water. If you have too much water, make a boat. But I want you to feel everything. The wind, is there sun? Can you smell flowers? Are there large trees? Just keep walking around and noticing everything in your inner garden. And keep your heart open, because this is what helps nourish your inner garden. Oh, it's so fine to be here. All right, now find a place to sit. And if you don't have a place to sit, create one. Opening yourself to infinite possibilities here. Now, as you're sitting, I want you to call through the spirit channel your higher self to come more fully into your presence and sit next to you. This is your God self, your angelic self, your eternal being. Have it just sit next to you. Address your higher self with blessings. And now hold hands with your higher self and look directly into the light and receive a message that she wants to give to you today, now. Something you've been contemplating for a while. Listen carefully. Feel the light enter you as she speaks through the telepathic channel of spirit. Perhaps it involves a change, like we were talking about earlier. Perhaps she wants to give you courage or guidance. Courage to step outside of the platform you've been living on and rise yourself up to a more joyful lifestyle. It's more fitting of the gifts that you came to share here in the world. And now share some gratitude with your higher self. I love you. Thank you. Just keep repeating it. And breathe between each line. Feel how present she is for you when you pay attention. Here in your inner garden, it's a great place to meet with anyone for any reason. Do some healing work or communion work, or just to empower a new vision. And now loose your hands from your higher self and let her go back straight up above you, and once again pour golden light down into you as you breathe. And you hold this message in your heart. You hold this new beginning in your heart. And we emphasize this moment in time where we're experiencing a blood moon, they call it here on Earth, and a lunar eclipse. There's a porthole that we have planted this vision in for absolute manifestation and success. Lifting us up into the next plateau of our life to play on. Angels. They're always present because they are the thoughts of God, living in the mind of God. Yet we don't offer them our attention very often. But they're always present and willing to assist whenever we offer our attention. Angels are the thoughts of God that move between us. All right, so take a couple deep breaths and open your eyes. Bring yourself back to our little Kahuna class this morning. Last week I promised to start sharing some Kahuna science. I like to call it that because the Kahuna mindset is so refreshing. And what is called Huna, the secret or the hidden, is no longer secret or hidden. Just about every single spiritual path, in fact, I think pretty much all of them, not religions, but spiritual paths, they all have the same roots. And Serge King used to always say, well, if what you're doing is working, then it's Huna. So, let's embark on a little Huna journey today. And there's so much to this, and I'm just going to give you some smaller bites to chew on, and we'll continue this next week as we go deeper with the principles of Hawaiian healing. In the Kahili system from Serge Kahili King, he received this transmission from his teachers here on Kauai. And he was given 7 principles to live by. 7 principles that came from an ancient science of life that offered the beings that used it extraordinary manifestation influence. And so I'm going to share those with you in the Hawaiian language and then explain what they mean in English. The first principle from the Kahili system is Ike. The world is what you think it is. The second principle is Kala. There are no limits. The ego hates that one. Principle 3, Makia. Energy flows where attention goes. Breathe this in each time I give you a principle. And let's plant some huna seeds in you. Ike, breathe that in. Plant it in your garden. The world is what you think it is. Another breath. Kala, there are no limits. Breathe that in. Even though your logical mind would tell you it's not true. Breathe that in again. Because we're going to explain all of these in a minute. Makia. Energy flows where attention goes. You can call, respond if you like. Makia. Plant that in your garden. Manawa. Now is the moment of power. Mana. All power comes from within. Pono. Effectiveness is the measure of truth. Now close your eyes and let's have a call response, because I want you to feel the Hawaiian mindset, the energy of Kahuna surround you as you repeat these words with me. Because each one of them is a portal into infinity, into infinite possibilities. Take a deep breath. Repeat after me. Ike. The world is what I think it is. Kala. There are no limits. Makia. Energy flows where attention goes. Manawa. Now is the moment of power. Aloha. To love is to be happy with. I think I left love out the first time. Mana. All power comes from within. And this gives a lot of credit to your higher self, the source of our being. Pono, effectiveness, is the measure of truth. Now, generally speaking, the primary characteristic of each principle, Ike, awareness. Absolute awareness. Awareness is so large, so encompassing, that your mind, it can't do it. The mind has to let go for us to be fully aware. Yes. Because the mind primarily lives in the past. And to be aware is a present moment experience. Kala, primary characteristic, freedom. Kala, to let go, to unbind. It's also the word used for forgiveness. Makia, focus. Whatever you focus on will increase in your awareness. So if you're focusing on judgment or anger about someone, it's just going to grow. If you're focusing on forgiving that person and feeling the love that was there that began the relationship in the first place, that will grow as well. And that would be encompassing all three first principles. Awareness of contraction or expansion, freedom from the past, which caused the judgment, and focusing on something that you want different. Into Manawa, which is presence. And you being present. You being your higher self present, hopefully, apparently. And what are you focusing on? You're focusing on love, Aloha, which is the next principle. Because if we're not feeling gratitude, love is to be happy with. If we're not feeling gratitude, then there is fear. There is a contraction, however minor it may be or seem or feel. If we're not feeling gratitude, we're not in alignment with Aloha, which is unconditional love, agape. Mana, the next principle, power, confidence, standing strong in who you know in your heart of hearts yourself to be. And pono, goodness. That's why hooponopono is all about creating goodness, allowing a conflict to dissolve, a judgment, a resentment, a feeling that is nagging at you, that keeps you away from your whole self, from others. Pono, goodness, will bring you back in alignment. Yeah. So those are the primary 7 principles of the Kahili system. And I really used this system. I've been using it since I met Serge King in 1984. Yeah, and so over the years, in teaching Huna, primarily in Canada and the US, one day in Canada I met Mehealani. We call her Auntie Mehealani. She is a kumu from the Big Island, who was also teaching the grassroots variety of Hawaiian principles. So I sat down with her one day at a Sunday service. I was asked to sing Hawaiian music at Reverend Angelica's church gathering at her home in Vancouver, BC. And she told me she was inviting her Hawaiian sister, Auntie Mahealani from the Big Island, to come and do the service on that Sunday and asked if I would sing. So I came and I sang, and Mahealani did the service. Oh, it was so sweet. There was a small group, I don't know, maybe 20, 25 people there. And after the service, we did a potluck. And so after we ate, I sat on the couch next to Mahealani. And I told her I had studied with Serge King. And I was wondering if she could compliment or comment on the 7 principles that I learned from the Kahili system. And she said, sure, come sit. So I did, and I brought my pad and pencil. And she started to speak. She started to offer a transmission of the grassroots interpretation of those 7 principles. And so this is what she gave me. I said, Ike, do you have an idea for me of what that actually means from your perspective? And she says, yes. I have a proverb to share with you for each of the Kahili principles. I was like, yes. So this is what became the primary teaching in my Halau, Hawaiian Shamanic Bodywork. So here's what she gave me. Ike. Now close your eyes and listen carefully to the Hawaiian words. Ike moaka aka o keiki maka. I'll say it again. Just plant this in your garden and I'll explain it to you. Ike moaka aka o keiki maka. I see clearly through the eyes of a child. So that complemented perfectly for me that the world is what I think it is. Because I learned very early on when I was in training with Serge Kahili King to teach this work. In order to graduate from the teacher course, we had to get up on stage and speak about the 7 principles and what they meant to us. And I had gone so deep with them, I realized that everything in this dimension has a polarity. And in order to find the balance of polarity, the zero zone, Dr. Yulin called it the zero limits. You want to observe both polarities, merge them, and so you come back to a neutral place and can open to receive the oneness of what's been presented instead of viewing one polarity or the other. So I went up on stage and I said, okay, Ike, the world is what I think it is, and the world is not what I think it is. That turned a few heads. Yeah, there were over 30 people in the class, and they were wondering, where is he going with this? But you can feel the polarity in that. The world is what I think it is. So in other words, I am projecting everything, every meaning that I see of everything, I'm projecting it from my thoughts. The world is what I think it is. But then that doesn't make it what I think it is. So the world is also not what I think it is. That's why I love this knowledge. Yeah, the corollary to the Kahili system in Ike is all systems are arbitrary. And that's another thing I loved about Huna, was that it annihilated itself in the first principle. just calling it another system. All systems are arbitrary. If you don't know what the meaning arbitrary means, it literally means that nothing has a meaning of its own. You give it all the meaning that it has for you. So whatever religion you choose, whatever spiritual path you choose, whatever thing you see in the world, is basically, you're giving it all its meaning. You are projecting meaning on everything. And interestingly enough, that correlates with the first couple of principles in A Course in Miracles perfectly. From this chair, from this window, everything I see has no meaning. Yeah. You see how this opens the infinite possibilities of what things really are, if we're not projecting what we think they are onto them. So I'm going to say that Hawaiian principle one more time. I think it's really worthy of another. Ike moaka aka o keiki maka. I see clearly through the eyes of a child. Because the eyes of a child are viewing the world through innocence, without interpretation, with glee and wonder. So beautiful. There's a great polarity. Yeah. And, we don't, I could do a whole course on each principle. And I have. I'm going to read to you what I wrote here in my book here. Ike, moaka aka o keiki maka. I see clearly through the eyes of a child. When you see things without judgment, you can see them in innocence. And awareness is all there is, being aware of itself. So in other words, everything in a very subtle way is self-aware. And that's all that's going on. All energy is self-aware, just being itself. Everything around you is responding to your awareness. Whatever you focus on, it's been said by a great master, that's who you are. Because you're bringing all of your mana'o, your thinking and your wisdom, your knowledge, to your perception. So that's a strong thought form that moves. And that's why all things mean only what they mean to you. And when you focus on them, their energy changes. I remember a great saying by Wayne Dyer that when you change what you think of someone, the someone changes. Because a thought never leaves its source. And this is the science of forgiveness. A thought never leaves its source. So every judgment you have, you are the jailer of someone or something. And what does the jailer do? The jailer has to tend to the jail to make sure that the one in jail doesn't get out. So that's how confining a judgment is. You can feel it. It's a contraction in your energy field. You don't want that. You don't need that. You want to free everyone? You want to free yourself? Yeah, practice aloha. Aloha is just pure, unconditional, undefiled, unlimited acceptance, okayness. Because aloha isn't really sourced in this world. It's sourced from a much higher plane. A plane that is so high that we can't even see it, touch it, smell it, hear it. We can imagine it, and we can make it so in our life. Such as the concept of Aumakua, of Keakua, of God. Yeah. And when we focus on that, Makia, it grows in our awareness. And what happens when we put our attention on something? Our life changes. So if you are moving through a lot of changes in your life right now, that is your best way to make it easier for you. It's to focus on that part of you that is not the body. That part of you that beats your heart and sources your life for a human experience. When you focus on that and receive guidance from that, your life will plateau and plateau and plateau and plateau. Higher and higher. And there'll be a less connection and investment in the drama that this world is showing to us. Yeah. Not only in your personal life, but on a global scale. It seems like a lot of the children, which are countries, are not happy with each other and doing some really nasty things to prove it. So, how can we affect that? Once again, remember, energy flows where attention goes. If you have a strong feeling, I'll give you an example of being upset that there's way more food in the world to feed everyone, and everyone's not being fed. So you decide to join the Hunger Project, let's say. And boy, you are so passionate about feeding people. You are so upset that we have way more food that's needed to feed everyone, and we're not doing it. Well, that's a judgment and a contraction. Even though the intention is good, the energy is not in alignment to actually get that food to the hungry. Now, if you decide to go into the Hunger Project, feeling so much compassion for the souls that have less, and wanting to give from the souls that have more, to balance things out, and you enter that project with Aloha, an entirely different effect is going to take place. People will be fed. People will show up to receive that love in the form of food that you are holding out to them. Mary Teresa proved this. Yeah. So that's pretty much the lesson for today. I'm going to stick with EK. World is what I think it is, and it's also not what I think it is. And I'm going to strive to see more clearly through the eyes of a child everyone's innocence, especially my own. Yeah. An angel just got its wings. All right, my friends. I don't see any questions. If you have questions, you can drop them into the chat. I'm monitoring the Zoom channel. I can't see the other channels. But thank you, Michael, for showing up. Mr. Godfrey, I appreciate your presence. And there will be a replay. So you can watch all the replays. I think we're in episode 17 or so for free. And my lovely assistant, Hope Corbin, she's also made the meditations a different file. So if you just want to do the meditations, you can just open them, and we'll edit them for you. And please share them. It's all free, because this is how the world is changing. It changes here first, And when we touch that love I've been speaking about, and we generate enough of it in our inner garden, then the only thing left to do is share it. And that makes it grow exponentially. That's the whole beauty of sharing love, is that the more you give away, the more you have. Because it's infinite. The supply is absolutely infinite. Infinite, infinite. All of this is being sourced by a love that we can't even comprehend. People, when they pass away, that's when they get it. And everyone who's passed away and have come back into a body, they've all said that they have no words for the amount of love, the amazing, amazing enormity, the warmth, the light, the parental affection that they felt coming out of the body, going home. They say there's no words for how they felt. So that is what will heal the world, the more we connect with that. And as you know, it's an inside job. So let's do this together in community, and do it together at your own altar, as I'm doing here on Sundays. And please subscribe and share. Share these gifts with your friends. I think that they'll find it very useful, even if you just share the meditation. But the lessons on Huna, they're going to keep on coming, because I love this art form very, very much. It's a great art form of healing. And I thank you, Patti Miller, for being my co-author in this book. You're a champion. Yes. All right, so in closing, Aumakua, mahalo nui loa. Aumakua, mahalo nui loa. Aumakua, mahalo nui loa. Ye ho'omai ka'i, Aumakua. Ho'omai ka'i po'imano, ho'omai ka'i honua, who bless the world and all of its souls. Ho'omai ka'i aina, who bless the land. Ho'omai ka'i, this prayer of love surrounds the earth with gold and white light, perhaps some violet flames on the edge. Healing, 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 healing. Yes. Thank you, God. Thank you. Thank you, God. Hui ho, until we meet again. Take good care. Malama pono.